Welcome back to another Film Geek movie review. Today, after the day job, I am off to check out the new anime film, Sword Art Online, the movie, Progressive Scenario of Deep Night. Whew, boy, that is a title, isn't it? Okay, so I'm really looking forward to this movie because I am just always thrilled to be able to check out any anime in theaters. It's such a treat for me. It was so difficult when I was younger to try to find any kind of anime, and now it seems like it's so commonplace, which I am so excited about. Guys, I am so not a gatekeeper. I am the complete opposite. I am an ambassador. I love to get people involved and to enjoy the same things that I enjoy, so it is so exciting to be able to see anime do so well here in the States. Okay, all of that aside, what is Sword Art Online Progressive Scenario of Deep Night? Gosh, okay, so this is based off of a series, an anime series, and I believe a manga also. And it's about an interactive video game. It's really cool. So you put on this headset and you get put into this VR in this VR video game, like an MMO, much like World of Warcraft. Except this film, or this series, whatever, in this movie, you get stuck in that video game world. It's like a whole VR thing. If anyone tries to get out of their headset, or if someone tries to get them out of their headset, like a family member or something like that, then the headset will kill them, fry their brain. So they are stuck inside this game trying to survive. Does that make sense? I hope so. Well, I love this anime series. I have been following it. I'm only in the second season right now. I've kind of taken a break from anime. I got through the first season. So if you're an anime fan of, a fan of the Sword Art Online anime, this is a reimagining of the first season, from what I can tell. If you have not seen, this is a sequel, I should say. I don't know if I said that or not. This is a sequel to another Sword Art Online movie. I think it's Sword Art Online, the movie Aria of Sleepless Night or something like that. It's on Crunchyroll, so if you're a subscriber of Crunchyroll, you might want to watch that one before you run out to the theaters to check out this film. Alright guys, well it's time for me to get out the door to the day job, so here we go, time to go. Thank you again for checking me out. I'll be back in a moment. Welcome back, just getting home, and you know what guys, this film was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it from beginning to end, and you know what, at the end of this review, if you want to stick around and check out a little story I have, I want to just get this. I've been wanting to tell this story for a little while. It's just kind of how we got a hold of anime back in the day. It's kind of interesting. Back in the 80s and 90s, anime wasn't just growing on trees. It was difficult, and you really had to kind of navigate things in order to find anime if you were an anime fan. Okay, so let's get into the review, alright? So let's start off with the negatives, and then we're going to end things on a high note with the positives. The one and only negative that I have on this movie is it really slows down in the second act. And I don't mean that it's not necessarily terrible, it's just the movie starts off like super action, like boom, 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 you're in it to win it. and then it just kind of flatlines for a while. But it's okay. I mean, it works on character development, world building, it builds the relationship between our two main characters, so it's definitely something that needs to be there. And it also does a lot of storytelling for this particular part of this story. It's obvious that they're going to be making more of these. Well, I shouldn't say obvious, maybe they won't, but hopefully they will, because let's just say they do not end the game in this one. It's definitely a middle. So I'm hoping to see more out of this. And really, that's the only negative that I can think of, is that it does kind of quiet down in the middle. It's not a terrible thing, but it does kind of hinder the film a little bit. Could have been a little bit more action in there in the middle, but that's okay. Not a big deal. Moving into the positives. As I said, this movie is fun. It is really fun. When there is action in this movie, it is great. It is a lot of fun to watch it. The animation is outstanding. The art is great. This film is very, very well drawn. It was so nice to see hand-drawn animation. There is a couple of parts with a little bit of CGI, but nothing terrible, just a little bit to enhance the film, and it doesn't look bad. It looks pretty cool, actually. So the animation in this is outstanding. Now, I did see the subtitled version, but even though it was a subtitled version, I couldn't understand what the people were saying. I still think the voice acting was great. You still got a really good idea of the emotion of the character, even if you didn't know what they were saying, and you were reading it on the screen. So yeah, the animation is great, the voice acting is pretty good, the story is solid, even though it slows down a little bit. Another thing that it kind of is a negative, I guess, I should have put this in the negatives, I did say that this is a sequel. Now, you don't necessarily have to see the first movie to understand what's going on. The only thing you really need to know going into this is it's, people who get stuck in a video game world, and then they kind of explain stuff that happened in the previous movie as the film goes. So, honestly, you don't necessarily have to see the first one, but I do recommend that you see the first one. Okay, well that's it, guys. This is a solid film. If you're a fan of the anime, the manga, or you just enjoy anime and you haven't even heard of anything by Sword Art Online, which if you are a fan of anime, I find it hard to believe you don't know Sword Art Online, because it's kind of, in my opinion, to like the Dragon Ball Z level. Maybe not Dragon Ball Z. Maybe Attack on Titan. Maybe that's a good comparison. So it is a popular anime. If you're a fan of it, get out and see this movie. It is super fun to see this kind of stuff on the big screen. And you know what's something I was thinking when I was watching this? There is a good chance that there's a good portion of you out there who have never seen hand-drawn animation on the big screen. And if you've never seen hand-drawn animation on the big screen, go watch it. It's cool. That's all I have for you guys. That's the review. Get out, see this movie. It is fun. It's definitely worth the price of admission. All right, so my little story. Okay, so back in the day, pre-internet, we had this thing called the BBS, the Bulletin Board System. And it was kind of like a message board system, all right? That's the best way I can explain it to you. You literally just put something up there and you waited for someone to respond. And that's how we got a hold of anime. You would jump onto one of these BBSs, and you would tell somebody, hey guys, I have episodes 1 through 5 of Ranma 1/2. What do you got? And then other people would answer your message. And I am not making this up. You would box up your personal VHS, and you would mail them to somebody else, and they would mail you their VHSs, and then when you were done with them, you returned them, and that's what we did. I'm not making this up. There's all these boxes of VHS anime being shipped all over the country. I did this several times, and it was a lot of fun. I was gonna bring it over here with me. I still have one of my old VHSs from back in the day, this anime series. It didn't really go anywhere, unfortunately, but it was really cool. It's called 3x3 Eyes. I'm not gonna go into the plot or anything like that, but it was really cool. Anyways, I still have my VHS, and yes, that sucker made it all the way to Seattle, and it came back to me. So there was this really, I guess you would say, honor amongst each other. Like, I never really talked to anybody that ran into many issues. Now, here's the downer. 9 times out of 10, it was hentai. Now, we didn't know, or at least I didn't know, what hentai was called back then. It was just, we just called it, We called it Naughty Tentacles. Yeah, anytime, whenever we got a hold of one of these, it was always the same thing. It was like, oh, Lord, what are they? Oh, what are those tentacles doing? Oh, no. And the first one I ever saw, the first time, was a movie called Legend of the Overfeed. And wow, guys. No, wow. So there you go. That's how we actually got a hold of anime back in the day. Now, eventually, and I want to say around here, and here in Kansas City, around like 97, 98 or something like that, I became aware of this privately owned video store. And it was about 20 or 30 minutes away from where I lived. And I would drive there, and they had a really good selection of anime. And that was probably, like I said, late 90s when we were able to do that. And what was good, though, is then that way we were actually able to see full series. You know how many times you would just see like 3 episodes and be like, oh, well, I hope it ends well. I hope it all works out for them. I'm never going to see any more again. It happened so much. And when all of a sudden this video store showed up, or at least I became aware of it, finally, I could rent an entire season of an anime. It was mind-blowing. And I also ended up renting the entire season or series of Twin Peaks while I was there, because why not? So there you go, guys. That's my review in a nutshell. That's my fun little story, my old man River story of how we used to get a hold of anime back in the old days when dinosaurs roamed the earth and people still used fax machines. Alright guys, well thanks again for checking out the Film Geek. If you liked what you saw here today, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, ring that bell for notifications, and give me the old thumbs up so I know you like what you're seeing. And if there's one more thing you can do, folks, that is keep watching movies. You know I'm gonna.